Okay, 4.1. I have to be 100% honest with you. I don't understand why we're doing this. This is not specifically on the star finding distance between 2 points on my parabola. Like, it makes zero sense to me. So I'm gonna skip this portion only because it's not a nice thing. Of course, this is what we're gonna be doing: square root, and then right here I'll highlight the specific area, the plus or minus and the plus or minus. I know a lot of us are gonna say, how do we get this one right here? Well, if we add 1 to both sides, that's where it came from, okay? So we're gonna be doing this a lot just for practice. Again, why are we doing it? It's to find the roots, but this is not how we're gonna find the roots on the STAR test. We're gonna be using Desmos. It's gonna be a lot easier that way. So, couple examples. We want to see if we could find our axis of symmetry doing it algebraically, okay? And this is a thing. I am very, very uncomfortable because we know the axis of symmetry is going through 1. So why is it asking me axis of symmetry right here? Not very sure, because then it's asking for solutions, which is just, I don't like it. It's not worded very well. So all we want to do is just practice solving this. We're going to do it for the first 4, because if we try graphing it, it just kind of doesn't make sense. Okay, so I like to do my little dash line. Of course, to get rid of the power of 2, let me zoom in so you can see a little better. To get rid of the power of 2, we're going to take the square root on both sides. Square root, square root. That square root eliminates the power of 2, so now we just have x minus 1. If I take the square root of 4, let me grab my calculator. Square root of 4. Ooh, that's a bunch of stuff right there. Don't look at that. Let me reset it. Second, square root of 4, just to double check. Just a 2. But because we don't know exactly if it's positive or negative, we have to put this plus or minus 2 sign right there. Okay, after that, got to move this minus 1 over, plus 1, 0. There's my x, started with the 1, and then the plus or minus 2. Again, what does this mean? There are 2 answers. X equals 1 plus 2, and x equals 1 minus 2, which just gives me 3 and negative 1. Again, what is this for? Because it's not on the star. Oh, you just see all my lovely question marks. What is that for? What is it for? I don't know. Take a quick pause, because I know I went a little fast right here. This is not, we don't need this. I guess they want to introduce the plus or minus sign since we're going to be going to the quadratic formula, but irrelevant to what we're trying to do with solutions, which is why the section can be a little confusing. But we never stray away from practicing our algebra moves. Okay, next one. Definitely pause it, maybe try it on your own if you're not sure, because you're like, what the heck is square root of 5? Well, because there's not a perfect number for that, we're going to leave it alone. Square root, that cancels, so I just have x minus 1. Square root of 5 is not a perfect square, so I get to leave it like that, but I have to include the plus or minus sign. I don't want to highlight it because I don't want to smudge it, but you need to include this plus or minus sign. Then plus 1 cancels. X equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 5. This is what we want. That plus or minus sign is going to throw off a lot of people, so just keep practicing, make it a routine. Try the next two on your own. If you did it correctly, you should get r equals -8 plus or minus the square root of 83. If you did letter B correctly, you should get D equals positive 17 plus or minus the square root of 55. Let me double check that real quick. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Should get these two answers. Be careful because I know the minus D is going to throw off a couple scenarios. Okay. Let me look at the next page. That was 4.1. Next video.